Because for me, growing up in Asia, we didn't really have a relationship with this show. And
Right,
so,
right,
so kind
sure.
of growing up, when you knew that this was going to be a feature,
Yeah.
what elements of your childhood did you feel like you wanted it to be on this big screen? Like, what were the things that you really loved that you wanted to see here?
Oh, I mean, you know, obviously, I think everything that we have in the movie, which, you know, I definitely wanted to see Chaka and the Sleestaks, and also, you know, just whatever version of this weird mythic land that we were gonna kind of create. But at the same time, knowing that we had to kind of open it up for an audience that, for the most part, probably is not familiar with the show. You know, I also wanted it to be inclusive of, you know, of that audience, so that if it got too specific about things, it wouldn't really work. So we had to kind of split the difference.
Brad gave a really awesome analogy about how he was questioning, he said, what would it be like to kind of be roommates with a good friend? And so,
Right.
like, shooting this film, it was kind of like the same thing for him. It's like, what would it have been like to kind of work with a good friend on a feature?
Yeah.
What was it like for you then, to know this person so well and then have him direct you and you know?
Yeah, it was, no, it was great. It was great. You know, what's so funny about Brad was that when we were kind of met with, you know, a number of different directors. Some were more from the comedy world and didn't know so much about making a movie on this scale. Others were kind of in Brad's area of expertise, and he was so knowledgeable about, you know, what was so great about Brad was in his interview would be like, you know, whether you hire me or not, you should go use these 2 stages at Universal. You should make sure, though, that you do this and do so. And we're like, oh gosh, he's just giving us free advice. We're like, we gotta work with this guy. And so it was great. It was a perfect marriage of, like, you know, kind of my strengths and his strengths, you know, brought together, and we had a great time.
There's a level of naughty humor here, and I'm just like, at what point did you kind of have to realize that you had to hold back and not go all the way, or did you feel like you kind of went as far as you could with?
There were a few moments that we had to leave out of the film that you know, because we are only PG-13, and but for the most part, in terms of you know, what I loved about the show was it was so bizarre, and I feel like we captured with our humor that kind of bizarre, you know, left of center kind of feel, and which is what we're finding out, that people are really surprised that you walk into this thinking it's probably going to be somewhat conventional in terms of, you know, okay, action movie with dinosaurs, but then it's really pleasantly, it's so funny and quirky and weird, and so I think we're totally proud of that. Yeah.
There's some visual set pieces which, I mean, I still can get it. The mosquito,
Right,
one of it,
right,
the crab,
yeah,
and I'm just wondering, like, where did these come from? And it was just awesome.
They just came, you know, they came from, like, just the creative team that we worked with. Jimmy Miller, one of our producers, was like, you know, we should take advantage of being in this world, and, like, just a big bug should land on Will, and that was like the beginning of the idea, and then that turned into, oh, that'd be funny what if we actually kind of reprise the old song, and he's fighting, you know, like he thinks he's getting sleepy, but actually he suffered from blood loss, and like the massive crowd, you know, that was just taking advantage of everything being on such a grand scale in this bizarre world, and yeah, so we really wanted to utilize all these things that we could comment on comedically.